Fox Toledo News at 6:30 starts right now.
From tragedy to triumph. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sean Hegarty, a special edition of Fox Toledo News at 6:30 out here at Lake High School.
And I'm Howard Shannon. We're talking today about this very special season opener, the very first game here at this rebuilt field for Lake High School.
It's amazing that we're even talking about football here after what happened in June, but people are pumped up, and it's finally starting to talk about football here and take a little bit of time away from all the rebuilding that's happening out here.
Absolutely. Just a few steps away, just beyond, just over there, you got the school that's still devastated. You got buses that are still flipped over. But out here, at least, I mean, football has arrived, and the stands, they're packed right now with people sitting here watching. Now, this past week, they were finishing up, they were putting the finishing touches onto the stadium itself. They were finishing up the visiting stands. They installed the new scoreboard. They were also finishing up the fencing and the electrical work. Right now, it's all finished up, ready for this first game. And it would sure mean a lot for Lake football to win this first game on this rebuilt field.
Hey, welcome to all who are here tonight.
It'd mean a lot. I mean, it'd be a lot to our community. I mean, ever since I've been in high school, we haven't beat Northwood yet. So it'd probably be the biggest win in schools in probably 4 years.
You know, we would like to get a win, no question about it. And that's where our goals are. That's what we're after. And, you know, to do that in front of our home crowd on this new stadium, that would be great.
Your school board, Jim Witt, is to be commended. So let's give them all a round of applause.
All right, and besides the Jim White Honda game of the week, here are some other games that we're going to check out. Whitmer's playing at Fremont Ross. That should be a good one. Another good one should be St. Francis and Findlay. That game's going on at Waite High School. Starters playing at Anthony Wayne, beginning a theme of City League schools playing against NLL schools. Bowsher playing at Springfield. Meanwhile, you have Perrysburg visiting Clay. Oak Harbor plays against Genoa. We also have Rossford going against Eastwood. Central Catholic hosting Buffalo Bishop. And we have the college season opener going on in the Glass Bowl between Toledo and a team from the Pac-10, Arizona. That's all coming up tonight on Hardcore Football. But for now, Sean, it's back to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Howie. And it's great that we're actually at this point. We want to take a look back at some of the destruction that happened out here, not only at the high school, but at Lake Township itself. Dozens of homes damaged and destroyed, cars toppled, trees basically snapped like toothpicks. That twisted tragedy wiped out part of Main Street in Millbury and the administration building for the police department. Sadly, you might remember that storm also took the lives of 7 people. Even with all the mess we had out here in the June 5th tornado, the Federal Emergency Management Agency decided this area didn't need any federal funds to rebuild. Pretty hard to believe. A team from the agency toured various parts of the area and decided against declaring it a federal emergency zone and giving it that declaration. Basically, FEMA said that the tornado damage wasn't bad enough, that local volunteers and emergency personnel, just everyday regular people couldn't handle out here. That forced Northwest Ohio to essentially pick itself up by the bootstraps, neighbor helping neighbor, from the cleanup to the neighborhoods to the school itself. Fox Toledo's Kevin Milliken continues our Team Fox coverage today.
The big blow-off from FEMA angered average citizens who saw 7 tornado deaths and all this devastation at Lake High School, which is going to cost $19 million to replace. But emergency responders weren't all that surprised, so they tapped into the time and talents of Northwest Ohioans and made million-dollar magic. The United Way put out the call for volunteers, and by the hundreds, people showed up to clean up. In the nonprofit world, a volunteer hour is worth more than $20.
We had over 3,600 volunteers, over 14,000 hours, so you could make the math work where $292,000 worth of volunteer time was deployed in our community that week.
The Red Cross passed out 4,000 cleanup kits and served 8,000 meals. You donated $317,000 to help them do that, an unusual disaster response success story.
First in my career that we've ever had more money raised than immediately needed to be spent. And that puts us in a really unique position to be able to support those long-term recovery committees.
In other words, there's enough Red Cross money left to ensure tornado victims can continue to have their needs met long-term.
Well, that's fantastic. I think the community is showing once again how important they value each other, and they want to make a difference and step up.
There may be another $500,000 on the way from Kohl's Cares. That's a Facebook contest to award that amount to each of 20 schools across America. But Lake High School dropped overnight from 16th to 21st place out of the running. That's when people put out the word on Facebook, the votes piled up, and vaulted Lake back into the top 5. On assignment in Lake Township, Kevin Milliken, Fox Toledo News.
Team sports.
There is still time to vote in that Kohl's Care contest, and I want to let you know, as of right now, Lake High School is in first place. So as Kevin was telling you, it was a slow start this morning, but things have certainly picked up. The voting ends at midnight, so just because they're in first place doesn't mean you should stop. Go to foxtoledo.com and you can find out how you can vote there. That brings us now to the Fox Toledo feedback question of the night. What do you think about the way that the community has really stepped up to help tornado victims? You can send us your thoughts via Twitter, Facebook, or simply send us an email. Back out here with Howard Chen, and it's almost kickoff time here. We're about 24 minutes away. It's finally getting going this whole season.
Yeah, right now they're already holding some ceremonies, kind of remembering what happened during the June tornadoes, because obviously it was a very emotional time for them, and obviously football is a way for them to kind of let loose and escape what happened in June.
Yeah, so you'll have all the highlights of this game tonight at 10 o'clock.
As well as all the other games, and you have the Hardcore Recruiting Minute. Joe Rognoski has a tremendous story. All of that's coming up later tonight on Hardcore Football.
All right,